Alright, welcome back to another video. I got home from Elite Nationals yesterday. Pretty much everything that could have possibly gone wrong in the weekend went wrong. Glenn broke his chain in the TT after the first 25 minutes. Really not a good start because he'd been training for that for like the last 6 months and put a lot of time, money and effort into that event. So pretty gutted for him. King got a bronze medal in the TT, which is super good. Then 2 days later we did the road race. Sunday, the night of the road race, like we had gale force winds, trees coming down. Meant to go up Mangakawa 3 times. Anyway, ended up being a flat course with 6 laps. On the 4th lap, the wind was getting so bad they cancelled the 5th and the 6th lap. So wherever you were in the race, the first person across the line won, and then Keegan did like a 800 meter flyer and like missed out. I'll put a photo up now, like sprint finish, and then ended up getting second. So good weekend and also a bad weekend for Elite Nationals. I'm slowly getting all the bikes back in the shed. So we've got the giant Trinity TT bike, slowly getting that ready. I've put a new saddle on that, but we'll get to that later. But firstly, the Cannondale and the Windspace, the gravel bike, are just absolutely filthy from this weekend, and obviously traveling on the roof of the car just gets them really filthy as well. So we're going to do them both a clean now. Alright, so we're just going to leave those two babies to dry. So pretty much today's session, we've got 2 hours. I'm going to start actually riding my TT bike a little bit more. In my last club TT, I had like a really sore like numbness, like sort of like in my groin area and then on the left side of my hip. So I've actually changed my saddle. So before I had quite a long nose Syncross saddle on here. So I've changed this like Specialized, I'm not actually sure what it's called, but it's like, you know, got quite a small nose and the slit in the middle. I've never ever ridden a saddle with the slit in the middle. I've always been against them. I put it on the bike this morning and it actually felt pretty good. Alright, so obviously there's still a lot of stuff that I need to do to get this bike UCI legal, which is what I need for Club Nationals to get it in the jig. I've been doing quite a lot of research and talking to Glenn about my position and what I need to do. My seat angle in front of my bottom bracket is fine, so that saddle should be absolutely perfect. I could probably even put that forward a little touch. But obviously the big problem is how long my bars are. You've got 10 centimeters between the base of your pad and the top of your shifters, and obviously mine is probably like 20, like it's probably double what you're allowed. To try and fix the bar problem, I'm actually going to get rid of the skis, because the skis just kind of pointing them far too high. Obviously I could cut them down, but if I cut them down then I lose a lot of length, and then instead of my elbow actually being able to sit where I want it to sit, I'd have to be almost down on my forearm, which is not what I want to do. So to fix this, I'm looking for some S-bends. So I'm hoping that the S-bend on this angle, because obviously it's quite an aggressive angle that I've got on the stack, but I want to keep the stack because I feel really comfy up there. So I'm going to try and get like an S-bend that just kind of like comes up and sits around about here. I guess they'll be about there. And then to counter the length that you're allowed, obviously these Shimano DR2 shifters are super long, so I've ordered like the Dura-Ace ones that actually sit kind of flush, and they'll get rid of about that much on the shifter that I should be able to push out on the bars. So I'm going to get rid of these, which means I'm also not going to have a front derailleur. So I think I'm going to go like everyone else is doing at the moment and run this on a 1x, maybe with like a 56 or a 58 tooth on the front. But yeah, that's kind of like the debacle of the time trial bike. There's so much admin trying to get these TT bikes UCI legal and actually like being able to race them and still be comfortable, and then you got to be able to ride them a few times a week and still be comfortable. So that's kind of where I'm at for Club Nationals. Alright, it's ride time. I always forget when I'm on my TT bike that I don't actually have a bottle cage, because my Trinity for some reason doesn't have a bottle cage, so I'm going to have to run the bottle in the back pocket. For 2 hours on the TT bike. I've got 2 5-minute efforts to do during today's session, and then the rest of it's pretty much just an endurance. I'm riding the TT bike just to kind of like test out the saddle, just to get more and more time on it. I know that the position's wrong at the moment, but more time on the TT bike the better. But definitely going to try and get these bars fixed in the next couple of weeks, because they are far too long. Alright, it is the next day now. TT session yesterday went real good. I ended up averaging almost 35k an hour. Wasn't actually pushing it super hard. I just ended up, you know, being in the TT position with the fast wheels on and stuff, you just kind of end up going pretty quick. I did 2 5-minute efforts, averaged 40 for the first one, then 48 for the second one. So pretty happy with that, but we're on to the Cintesi build for the rest of this video, which I'm pretty excited about. Right, so obviously I started the Cintesi build like 4 weeks ago, over a month ago, and I said I was going to get it built literally the following week, but I could not find for the life of me just this one part right here, but I have finally tracked it down. The Warrels rep came into the shop the other day, the guy who does like all of the SRAM, and they finally worked out that I needed this external cup, which is what goes on these old bikes. So the cup goes at the bottom there and the cup goes in there, rather than our bikes these days have all the internal bearings and they kind of like press in. But this is literally the last thing I needed, and I finally got it. So other than that, we've got a few extra pieces there in that red box. We've got the brakes in those box, and we've got a very, very expensive piece of kit in that physique box right there, and we're gonna unbox it all right now. Right, so obviously, first things first, we have the SRAM rig grip set that we've already unboxed. That's all ready to go. So we've got the shifters that are already on the bike, front derailleur, rear derailleur, we've got the USB, and then we've got the charging port, and the shifters are already on there looking pretty fly. And then we were also waiting for this. I decided not to go super crazy and spend all my money on this build, so we've just got a black SRAM Rival crank, which is going to go into there and look pretty fly on the bike, which is pretty sick. So yeah, I went for the Rival. I don't need a power meter on this bike. I'm not actually sure how much I'm going to ride it, so I wasn't going to go crazy like on the Scott Foil build and like put Durace and everything on it. I got the group set for a bit of a steal. I thought we'll stick to the budget and we'll just go Rival for the crank, so we're waiting for that shot. That's here. We've also got 2 SRAM red brakes. One there. So we obviously went a little bit more bougie with the brakes. We've got proper SRAM red ones here, but I thought that the chrome on these would look absolutely sick with all the chrome that's on this bike already. So yeah, we've got those. And then last but not least, the bit that we have all been waiting for. I spent $550 retail on this physique saddle, and it is absolutely sick. So this is the Physique Antares Verso Evo R3 Adaptive, which is the 3D printed version of the road saddle that I have on all my other bikes. Really hard to see in this light, but it's 3D printed the whole way across. Absolutely sick. Ridiculous amount of money to spend on a saddle, but I thought I was going to stick with the theme. We're going a super old frame, and everything else on it has to be modern and sick. So yeah, I saw this saddle and I thought absolutely had to go on this bike, so I got it. It just looks ridiculous. Like, modern technology these days is just crazy what they can do. 3D printed saddles, how good. So yeah, that's pretty much all the stuff we need. I've got wheels in the other room. I'm gonna slightly build it today. I'm gonna like put the rear derailleurs on and stuff. Obviously get everything connected. I don't have a chain with me. Obviously it's during the day at the moment and the shop's being used for actual shop stuff, so I can't just start going and filming a YouTube video there. But we'll get as much on that we've got here. We'll try and get the cranks in. We'll put the saddle on, put the front and rear mech on, and then we'll just kind of get it as built as we can in here. And then in tomorrow's video, or the next vlog, we'll get the thing properly built and we'll take it out for its first test ride. Alright, so for the sake of just having wheels on this bike, I thought it would be pretty funny to put the 75s on there. Obviously I plan to run this bike with either the Windspace 38s or the Windspace 60s, but it does look pretty sick like that. But I don't think I'm going to run Durace wheels with a full SRAM group set. It's a little bit of blasphemy, I think. Alright, we have put pretty much everything that we have on. Actually managed to get the crank on, considering it was just one bolt, not a massive deal. But yeah, we've got the crank on, we've got the seat on, got both the front and the rear brake on, shifters are on, front derailleur and rear derailleur. Pretty much from here on out, you need to run a front cable and a rear cable for the brake. Need to connect up the front and rear mech, obviously need to align them, need a chain, wrap the bars, put the headset in, and that's pretty much the bike ready to go. So yeah, that's pretty much as far as we're going to get on the Cintesi today. Everything else kind of needs to be done in the workshop. So hopefully next video this thing will be fully built, get the headset in, probably going to cut that stereo down and absolutely slam it. There's going to be an absolute racing machine. Yeah, I'm not actually sure how I meant to connect up the SRAM, so I'm gonna have to do a bit of research on how to actually connect up the ETAP so it actually shifts gear and works. Yeah, that's gonna wrap up today's video. If you did enjoy it and you want to keep up with this and all the racing and stuff that we've got coming up, I've got lots of like training videos, obviously trying to get this bike built, so we've got a lot of content to make with this thing. Definitely hit that subscribe button down below and like this video if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.